Chapter 5. I grilled steaks and made vegetables and fried potatoes. And we talked long into the night. We talked about our careers. Michelle was a nurse, and she liked the excitement of the ER. She'd done some travel nursing too, and had recently worked in Wisconsin. She told me stories of unruly patients and the brave and savvy ER nurses that dealt with them, but the changes she saw in her field that she didn't like because they emphasized paperwork over patients, of the great influences she'd had from other doctors and nurses, and the friends she'd made along the way. See, I'm a scientist by training, and I told her how I started my professional career in academia doing molecular research, and then on to the world of clinical laboratory testing, on to managing other scientists, and then to the new job over compliance and quality improvement. I spoke of the respective merits of working in research versus clinical, the best parts and the worst parts of each, and of the path in life that led me to where I was then. Now, even though nursing and lab are very different from each other, both are medical fields, and both are governed by CMS, the Center for Medicaid Services. And we spoke the same language, so many aspects of the medical field that I didn't know well, she did, and vice versa. And in that way, we complemented each other nicely from the very start. We were similar enough to understand each other, but different enough to learn from each other too. We also talked about our kids and their other parents, our first loves. And she had 3 girls, Danielle, Brooke, and Savannah, that were in their mid to late 20s at the time. And my 2 boys and my nephew, Trey, Corey, and Nick, were in their early 20s. And Michelle spoke about her girl's father and how at one point in time there had been real love between them. And how, like a lot of young loves, it didn't survive the trials that life throws at us. And I could relate. Her story was my story. And in so many ways, our lives seemed to mirror each other. We talked about run-ins with the law and honor and the importance of keeping your mouth shut. We'd both been there. We talked about love and losing love and losing people that you love. We talked about God and the soul and life and what's important. We talked more with our hearts than we did with our mouths. And by the end of the night, we knew each other better than some of our friends who'd known us for years. We were so much alike, and there was just no fear of judgment. We were wonderfully, refreshingly free to be ourselves with each other. And I could see how strong she was, how resilient and passionate, how loving and kind, how sensitive and tired, how weary and hurt. There was a specific moment when Michelle was talking, and I realized I hadn't been listening for a while, at least not with my ears anyway. I've been listening with my soul, and I could feel all that pain she'd been tucking away. Trying to ignore it, trying to be too strong for too long for her. And there's really no way to explain it other than bother me to my very core to know this lovely human being carried that around inside her every day. I just wanted to know that I cared about it. And as she was talking, I just reached out and gently touched the side of her cheek. And then as our eyes met, she grew quiet and then just burst into tears. And they flowed on and on and on, just as natural as the spring rain. And I held her as close to me as I could and let her cry.